Hey folks, what's going on? It's Wilson. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. In this episode, I want to talk about how some of the top fighters cut weight so fast and then they hit the scale for weigh-in and pretty much regain all the weight in like a split second, right? Like overnight. So it's first of all, it's very dangerous. And I would never recommend anybody to cut so much weight and then put back all the weight onto their body right away. It's really bad for your health. You go through a brutal process, and it's something that can definitely put you in the hospital as well as cause death, right? So this is only for educational purposes only, and I've trained with fighters who do this all the time. Um, it, but I just want to share this with you on how they do it. Basically, there's a lot of approaches to it, right? Most fighters are getting smarter, so they call it a smarter weight cut, which is a little bit safer, where they slowly start to go on a very massive diet roughly 2 weeks before their weigh in. Now, this allows you to have enough time and you don't have to drop too much weight. Um, and it's just a much safer option. But in this video, we're not going to talk about that kind of safer option. We're going to talk about the more dangerous one that most fighters been using, and we've seen a lot of fighters just cut a massive amount, like we're talking about like 20 pounds over the course of like a week, and then regain it all back right after weigh-in, so that they can fight at that at that lower weight class while still having all the strength and the body advantage. Again, this is very dangerous, and I would never recommend anybody to ever do this. So when I was training at one of our local MMA gyms, one of my close friends was going through this experiment. He had a fight coming up, and he needed to cut weight really fast to hit the scale correctly. Um, I told him that I would like to document it and see how he does it in a mini journal version. So he shared it with me on how he was able to do it. So he had roughly 1 week or approximately 5 to 6 days to lose 20 pounds and then try to put it back on. And he documented the entire process as well as his thoughts on how he did it. And I will share that with you guys in this video. So uh, he started off the first day running at roughly 190 pounds. So he would need to drop down to around 170 before his weigh-in. The first approach to this is that you want to get as much water out of your body as possible, because your body is pretty much consists of water, and that's what is impacted on the scale when you step on it. Is a lot of it is water weight from all the carbs that you eat, from just all the water that's been stored in your body over time. So the first step is to flush all that water out of your body, or as much as you can, right? So you can't have absolutely zero amount of water in your body. So the way to do this is you will need to consume a lot of water to start with, and then no water. And on Sunday, for example, if you're starting on Sunday, you would drink 2 gallons of water, and then on Monday you would drink 1 gallon. Then on Tuesday you would drink another gallon, and then on Wednesday you go for 5 gallons, and then on Thursday you go for maybe like a quarter gallon, and then on Friday you don't drink any water at all because you peed out so much of it already, and then you go for the weigh-in at night. So that's like the ideal 5 day water part of cutting down weight. As you can see, the amount of water starts high with the 2 gallon, and it decreases each day till pretty much my friend was drinking hardly any water at all on Thursday and Friday, right? This is to ensure that the body will get into that what they call the flushing mode. Again, it's very dangerous because you're flushing out all the sodium that retains water as well, right? So what happens when you peeing out more fluid than you can take in because your body's already in this flushing mode? Well, bingo, right? You're pretty much at a rapid weight loss and you lose a lot of water. So the next thing that he would do, and he will implement starting from day one, is that he will not eat more than 50 grams of carbs, right? Since 1 gram of carbohydrates pull in roughly, I think it was like 2.7 or 2.8 grams of water, and it stores it in the body. So it is important that you keep your carbs very low so that you're not storing any water weight at all. There's nothing that is retaining water in your body, and at the same time you're depleting all your muscle glycogen, um, and you pretty much end up looking like like a slimmed down stick, right? Because you don't have that puffiness of the muscle. That's why you see a lot of like massive bodybuilders when they flex, or even MMA fighters when they flex, you see that puffiness in their biceps. But then when you're on such a low carbohydrate diet, your glycogen is all out, and you just don't have that puffiness anymore. So you lose a lot of weight that way, right? When it comes to diet, this is more of like a ketogenic diet where they avoid carbs, sugars, and stuff like that. So next things that they need to avoid is exactly like what I said: minimum carbs, fruits, sugar, and all starches. So no more spaghetti, no more rice, no more quinoa. Whatever your favorite starch is, right? Definitely no pizza, right? So the next thing, but you still got to eat. So what they will do is that they will eat a lot of protein and fats for the energy. Protein, consists of very lean protein because you're trying to keep your calories low on the weight cut. You want to be in deficit, and fats at the minimum as well. But you still need fats to maintain your hormone as well as to give you enough energy to at least pass through the rest of the day. Now, this is another thing is that he will not intake any salt or as much as possible because he doesn't want the body to have any sodium that will retain any more water or hold on to any more water. Um, then here comes the brutal part. It might sound fun, but you have to take a lot and a lot of hot baths, showers, and sauna. So you'll be in the steam room most of your entire day. If you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're probably in the steam room or you're in a very hot bath. And this all goes back to just trying to dehydrate your body and make yourself sweat out all the water with the goal. Remember, the goal is to just get every single bit of water or as much as you can out of your body. So he pretty much sits in the sauna at very high heat and just sweats everything all out. So let's talk about the basic example of the weight cut schedule, right? So starting off at 190 pounds, carbs wise, less than 50 grams per day, no fruit, no starches, no sugar. Proteins as fats as the main of the diet on the first day, and then water starting off with 2 gallon, salt close to none or none at all, right? Second day, same exact thing when it comes to diet. Um, the diet really never ever changes, but you're definitely in the sauna for pretty much every single 5 days. So the routine doesn't really change when it comes to diet. Now let's talk about how he felt during this weight cut. So starting at 190 pounds, he says that I was carrying a gallon of jug with me wherever I go, which makes me feel ridiculous. But I have to make sure that I get my 2 gallons of water in. Remember, this is the first day, and he goes like, overall, I feel fine. It actually doesn't seem that difficult, and I'm not really sure what the big deal is. But that's day one, right? Remember, you're just starting off, and then the next day, that's when things start to kick in because you're starting to feel weak, from the lack of carbohydrates as well as all that water flushing out. So he's like, hey, I'm starting to miss the taste of salt. All my food feels very bland, and now I'm drinking 1 gallon of water instead of two. Still not bad, but food is definitely a problem because I'm missing my food. And he's down to roughly 187 pounds on the second day. So the next day, he's at 182 pounds. He's dropping a weight fairly quickly. And then he's like, I'm going to the bathroom like 13 to 15 times a day. I feel like an idiot, always having the urge to go. And a new record for me in my entire life. And he says, I'm still drinking a gallon of water and my body is just flushing it out. On Wednesday, he weighs in at 179 pounds, and he's like, now I'm down to half a gallon of water per day, which means I'm drinking less, so I feel less bloated, but I'm still going to the bathroom the same amount of times every single day, so he's still peeing a lot. He's like, I have a little breakfast, a little lunch, and a small dinner, and he's like, definitely everything just feels very dry in my diet. He's like, but now that I'm drinking less water, I actually feel very dehydrated and I want to drink more water. So he tries to go and grab some coffee, and the fact that there's no salt, he just feels like his whole entire diet is miserable. But he starts to hit the sauna and the hot bath, and he goes like, this is really rough because he's feeling like crap right now. Now, the next day, he's down to 175 pounds, and he's like, only one word can describe me right now. I feel like a freaking zombie. He's like a zombie who just sits in the sauna most of the time, feeling like crap, and just sweating, feeling thirsty, have no appetite to eat at all. The final day, he's at 169 pounds. He's like, I look sick, I feel weak, I feel like I have zero energy and I'm just thirsty as hell. But for some reason, I'm still able to pee the same amount of times that as I did in the second day. So he's at that flushing mode right now, and it's killing him. But that's the final day, and he was able to cut those 20 pounds down in such a short amount of time. He said that he feels that he has no strength to do anything at all. So he wasn't even able to lift weights or like do his workouts, but he was able to hit the scale and hit his goal. So now let's talk about how he gained all of that back right after the weigh-in. Now here's the fun part, right? You hit your weight, you feel successful, you're like, okay, now what do I do? I still feel like crap because you're so underweight. Now it's time to gain back all those weight so I can prepare for my fight, get all my energy and strength back, and knock out my opponent. So how did these top fighters do it? Or how did he do it? They try to gain as much weight as humanly possible in those 24 hours before the fight. um, Basically you start off by increasing your water intake again, because remember the last day you barely drank any water at all or none at all, and the second to last day it was very minimal water, so you're thirsty and you just need all that water right back into your body. Now according to a research by Dr. Bernardi, the body can only absorb about 1 liter or 2.2 pounds of fluid at maximum in an hour. So he advises that fighters he worked with to not drink any more than that, because you can actually die from that. Instead, he tells them to sip 1 liter, roughly 2.2 pounds of water per hour. That's still a lot of damn water, in my opinion. But however, the fighters won't gain all that fluid. In fact, only about 25% of it will will no 25% of it will be lost in the urine. So your body retains roughly 75% of the fluid that you drink out of that 1 liter per hour. Now, after drinking all that amount of water and being able to retain in your body, because only roughly 75% of that 2.2 will stay within your body, you're peeing out the rest of the 25%. The next thing you would do is that you pretty much reverse what you were doing before during the cutting phase, which is you eat as much carbohydrates as you want, as your body can handle. So, I mean, or as much of protein and fat. Basically, you just want to increase your calorie intake like crazy, and you you want to focus on carbohydrates, because what it does is it actually retains back a lot of the water that you've been drinking to recover from this, and you're trying to get your body back to a normal state. You want to add salt back to everything because you don't want your foods being dry, as well as pretty much you want to be able to increase your sodium intake through the salt. And it was pretty good. So let's say you have 24 hours after weigh-in before the fight. Um, the diet will change to eat as much carbs as you want in one meal after weigh-in. Eat as much protein and fat as you want. Drink 1 liter of water mixed with maybe like some carbohydrates, some sort of protein powder, and oh, you want as much salty food as possible, right? So that's pretty much what he did, and he was able to drop that 20 pounds, regain the 20 pounds, and pretty much go at the fight at full force. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I didn't do the best job covering this, but that was just pretty much an example, and I kind of want to share this for educational purposes. There are a lot more dangerous ways that people do it. They take a lot of medicine. I would never ever prefer that type of method. I'd rather do it like this, um, if I had to, but I wouldn't choose either way. I would actually rather start early and just start to weight cut in more of a safer way by going on a slower cutting diet. That's what I would recommend to any of my friends as well as fighters that I hang out with. But educational purposes, this is how fighters cut weight as well as regain their weight within 24 hours after weigh-in. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. You can always follow me on Twitter at iswilson8.